Hello, what's up? If you are brand new to this channel, my name is Sean and I am a photographer. I've shot a range of things ranging from portraits, sports photography, automotive is really cool to me. I've shot in a lot of cars. But as of recently, I've been doing a lot of sports photography. I'm just getting done with an internship with VCU Athletics where I was interning as a sports media photographer. I would cover a range of different sports. Lately, I've been shooting a lot of soccer. I've been working with the Richmond Kickers as a sports photographer to gain coverage of their season. It's been a ton of fun and I've been having a lot of fun editing these photos that I've been getting. Dehancer specializes in making film-like color grading accessible to creators like myself to go ahead and edit their photos and videos. They recently reached out to me to give their photo editing plugin a review, so I'm going to go ahead and plug that into Lightroom and start playing around with it and give you my thoughts. To gain access to this plugin, you can go to Dehancer's official website and download it and add it into Lightroom. It's pretty simple. They provide a PDF on how to do so I'm not going to really dwell on how to do that. It took me no longer than maybe 5 or 10 minutes to do it. So yeah, should be easy, straightforward. Let's just hop straight into things. As I stated earlier, you can go ahead and install the plugin using the instructions found on Dehancer's website. You can access the photo editing plugin by right-clicking, selecting Edit In, and then going to Dehancer Lightroom plugin. Once you do that, a pop-up will appear and you can just hit Open Dehancer Lightroom, and boom, just like that, you will be inside of Dehancer's editing plugin. There is a lot to look at right here, so let me go ahead and explain what you're looking at. To the left, you have a Films and a Presets section. The film is just containing some of the regular film stock simulations that you can have access to. Presets are film-like simulations just like the Films tab, but on top of it are a few modifications, like maybe they changed the contrast or the white balance, stuff like that. Just think of it as a film stock simulation with a little bit of editing done on top. If you look over to the right, there are a lot of tabs here. I honestly do not know how all of it works. I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the things that I use when I open up the plugin. So inside of the input tab, I definitely make use of the exposure compensation, which is just fancy for exposure, how dark or bright you want the image to be. And as you can see, I can mess with the exposure. I'll probably just leave it right where it's at or a little bit under, -10. You can also control the white balance with the temperature comp. See, like that. Just like in regular Lightroom. You can also add tinting. And those are the three that I usually stick to in the input tab. The next tab that I would like to point out is the film developer tab. So you can use the contrast boost, which is just fancy for messing with the contrast in the image. I personally love a contrasty image. Whenever I'm editing, I will boost that contrast. So we will be going ahead and doing that right now. Also, we have the color boost. Color boost, just think of that as saturation. How saturated do you want this to be? The next tabs that I personally make use of is the print tab. This print tab is basically gonna just make it look like you printed out this film on a piece of paper. And you can click here and see the different effects that you could do. And I imagine this is kind of what it would look like if you were to actually print this out on film physically. Then we have the color head tab. The color head tab, you can go ahead and think of it almost as a RGB slider in my opinion. You can see how the red, green, and blue is affected when I slide this slider. You can add blue or remove blue. You can add green or remove green. Just like you would do in regular old Lightroom. But again, this is the Dehancer Lightroom plugin. This is not Lightroom itself. Additionally, you can add film grain to your image. And as you can see, the deeper you go on the list, the more apparent the grain becomes. You can make it custom, or you can take something that's already pre-made by Dehancer itself. I would probably take the 65mm ISO 500, excuse me, misspoke. Halation is the next tab I would want to point out. This is that reddish glow that you get from film cameras, and you can put it in your image using this halation tab. So the smaller the millimeter, the more intense it usually is. I would kick it down to 65 if I really was going to go ahead and do that. For the sake of making this feel like film, I'm going to go ahead and add that to it. Then on top of that, the next tab is bloom. And bloom is basically that soft glow effect that you get in film. I will go ahead and remove the film just so that you can see it a little more. You can slide the highlights and kind of add that glow or remove the glow. Impact can also be used to affect the strength of your bloom. So the next tab I would like to talk about is film damage. This is like in film where you develop a photo and you get actual scratches or hair or dust on the photo. You can turn this on and kind of actually get that feel. See some of the scratches that's on it. And I kind of like that right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that like that. But yeah, if you want to make it look like some hair or some noise or some dust or scratches is on the photo, go ahead and add the film damage. Overscan, as you can see, gives you that old-timey looking film. Almost if you had a roll of film. And it can be pretty neat. You can see there's quite a bit of options. Me personally, I don't know if I want to use that on this image as of right now, so I'm going to take it off. And then you have your good old vignetting. Everybody knows what vignetting is. If we come back over to the films tab, there are a bunch of film like color grading options. You honestly just have to flip through and see what you like. And once you found something that you like, you can go right on over to the right side of the screen and adjust some of the settings to get the photo to be just how you want it to look. I like the way the Kodak Color Plus looks as a base, so I think I'm going to start there for this one. And I'm going to take a minute and just kind of run through this and adjust the photo to make it look how I want it to look. One quick thing in the middle of my editing that I forgot to mention is the expand tab. So the expand tab allows you to adjust the black point. So what should be the darkest portions of your image? That's basically what this slider is saying. And you can use it to help dial in your image. Also the white point, which should be some of the brightest areas of your image. And you can see sliding it affects it a lot. And here is the final edit that I came up with. I really like the film like color grade that I was able to achieve with this plugin for this image. I think it really makes it look really throwback, kind of like your old Kodak camera. Really cool. When you are finished with the edits that you have made in the plugin, you can come to the top and hit OK. Before you export your image, if you would like to see the before and the after, you can hit this I button right here and it'll give you a preview of what you started with and then what you got afterwards. Again, I'm not a pro at film like color grading, but I think this looks kind of cool. It makes it look really old timey. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with this. I'm gonna hit OK. Once you hit OK, you'll be taken back to Lightroom and you can hit finish. And as you can see, the effect pops right on top of the image that you edited. And like I said, just really throwback. I really like the way that came out. So I'm going to go ahead and edit one more image just to give you guys another idea of what you can achieve with this plugin. I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of our goalie and edit it. I really like this composition and I think it would look really good if we went ahead and made it look film-like. So let me go ahead and reset the edits in this photo so I can just have a raw image, right click, edit in Dehancer Lightroom plugin. Open Dehancer, and boom, we are right back where we were. Let me go ahead and reset everything that we've done. I'm gonna go ahead and make use of the Kodak again. So as we did earlier, we can mess with the exposure, the temperature, the tinting. I think for right now, I'm happy with where this is at. I'm gonna go down to the film developer and mess around with the contrast because you guys know I love contrasty images. And I'm just gonna boost the color just a little bit. All right, let's go to expand and just darken up the image just a little bit. And then let's come down to color head and just push that green just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of bloom to this image. Loving the way it's looking already. And this impact slider really just kind of spreads out the effect of it if you look at it closely. Look as I slide it up, you can see it kind of spreads out a little bit more. Okay, I put just a little bit of halation on it. And let's do some film damage because I just like the way that that looks. And I failed to show this for the last image, but you can select custom, and you can do custom dust, custom hair, custom scratches, and add a lot more or take out whatever you don't want. Me personally, I think I just want some dust and some scratches. I really like the way that looks, these scratches. Wow. And this is the final image that I came up with. Again, I really love this old-timey film look that we've got going on. I think I'm just a sucker for the scratches. The scratches kind of did it for me. I love the texture it adds to the image. So we're going to go ahead and look at the before and after as we did with the last image. Very cool. I really like that. Man, it's so cool. And we will hit OK to export it. So we've exported the image, and once we hit finish, the edit will pop up on top of that image that we selected, and boom, there we go. Again, this is really cool. And even if you feel like you want to make some extra, maybe you missed something while you were in the plugin, you can make a few extra edits on top of it with the regular sliders in Lightroom. Like say I could boost the exposure if I wanted to, I could push the contrast, or I could remove some contrast. I am by no means a film expert, so I don't know what is traditionally seen as a really good film like color grade, but I think, in my opinion, as a novice or anybody else that would be a beginner, I think this is cool. One thing that I want to point out is that if you do not have access to a laptop, you can edit and get film-like grading on your phone. If you are an iOS user, you have the ability to download Dehancer on your mobile device and edit straight from there. There's a wide variety of film available on this application. This is perfect for creators like myself who are always on the move and trying to work in a fast-paced environment such as sports media. Having access to a tool on your phone or your mobile device that you're able to just edit on the sidelines with is perfect and allows you to get your photos in on time. Dehancer asks for my honest thoughts, so please know that these are my honest thoughts, and if I have to give it my honest review, I would say that this is perfect for someone that may not have access to an actual film camera, or someone like myself that would just want to dip their toes into film like color grading. I am not a stickler about film. I do not know the specifics about film or developing film. I've never even used a Kodak or a Fuji film. That's just not my thing. But if I wanted to go ahead and try and do some film like color grading, Dehancer definitely will be on my radar, especially as a beginner. As we mentioned earlier, there are so many films and so many presets available for you to be able to manipulate your image and bring it out and make it what you want it to be. The only gripe that I have with the plugin in Lightroom is the inability to edit multiple images at once. Maybe I'm just ignorant to something, maybe it is possible. But I know if I'm just editing in plain old traditional Lightroom, I can just go ahead and upload multiple images at once and they're all beside each other and I have quick access to them. With this plugin, I was imagining if this was my only tool for getting film like grading, I probably would be a little bit frustrated. Working in sports media, I really need to be able to edit like that and get access to a lot of photos at once. And I feel like this would kind of slow down my process. But other than that, the Kodak, the Fuji Color, the Polaroid, all of the emulation made available to you through Dehancer's plugin and mobile application will suffice for anyone that is just trying to get their hands on film like color grading and step into that different realm. So overall, I definitely would recommend this to someone if they feel like they want to go ahead and give this a try. And I have great news for you if you really do want to give it a try. I have a 10% off discount code, Sean10off. Go ahead and apply it to your purchase, subscribe, go ahead and try and give this product a try. I think you'll really like it. As always, thank you guys for checking in. I appreciate you being here and listening to me spiel about photography type things. If you're interested in following my photography journey, go ahead and subscribe down below. I got a lot of new stuff coming soon, and go ahead and follow me on Instagram and keep up with some of the photos I've been putting out. I would love to have you in my community. Thank you guys for tuning in, and as always, stay in peace and always remember that your life is worth sharing. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.